Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another video. I just got back from NAMM 2018 and oh man, what an experience. There was a ton of walking, looking at guitars, playing guitars, talking about guitars, drinking coffee. It was so tiring, but so worth it. And by the way, thanks to everyone that came up to me on the show floor to say hi. That was really cool. It's humbling and quite frankly mind-blowing that people actually recognize me from the internet and like my stuff enough to say nice things in person. So yeah, thank you. I also talked to a lot of people about some really exciting things that I cannot share right now, but oh my god, 2018 is gonna be huge and you guys are gonna love it. Anyways, I didn't do any sort of like a NAMM vlog thing. That's not really my style, and I didn't record anything on the show floor either. It's just too loud. I'll leave that to the professionals. But here are the top 5 things that I thought were really cool on the NAMM show floor. I'll also have links to other videos in the cards and in the description so you can check these things out in more detail. First on my list is the new Marshall Origin series. Specifically, I like the 50 watt head because it's a big Marshall tube head. What more do you want? I like my Marshall DSL 100H a lot, but it's definitely more of a modern voiced amplifier. The Origin series, on the other hand, is a nod towards Marshall's origins. The basic goal the company set out with these amplifiers was to replicate that vintage British Marshall tone and then add in a few features that contemporary guitarists are accustomed to having in modern gear. Think of it like the HD remaster, the Blu-ray version of the Plexi. So the tone and responsiveness is supposed to mimic the classic Plexi sound. Then it has an extra gain knob and a tilt knob, which you can use to kind of sweep between the two preamp voicings of the original Plexi's channels. Then finally, it has a power soak feature to switch between 50 watts, 10 watts, and 1 watt by reducing the voltage. They're calling this power stem. Marshalls have had power soak features for a while. My own DSL can be reduced to half power by switching between pentode and triode modes, but this does change the tone slightly. Doing it this way by manipulating the voltage is supposed to give you an identical sound regardless of the wattage. Then the icing on top is the price. The 50 watt head is listed new for only $650 in the US, which means that it's actually attainable for most of us guitarists that aren't made of money. For a big full tube Marshall head, that is not bad at all. Next on my list are the new Vola guitars. I'm relatively new to this brand. Vola is an acronym that stands for the voice of life and arts. They don't have an import line or anything like that. They only make high-end guitars out of Japan and the USA. Goto hardware, Duncan pickups, the good stuff. Robert Baker's been playing them a lot. I actually ran into him at the booth in Shanghai, which is how I got introduced to Vola, but for NAMM they were showing off 2 new lines. The Vola Aries looked great, and the one that really caught my eye was the one in satin tribal green. It had a burled maple top and they kept the natural wood holes in it, which is a nice little touch. It felt like it was forged straight from nature, you know? So that was really cool, but my favorite was the Blaze X series. These have really chunky set through necks with mayonnaise-esque ash tops where the natural grain has been stained, and in Vola's case, it kind of fades from color to color. The one in what I'm calling Nebula Burst is a bit too psychedelic for me, but the one that goes from bright yellow to a deep red, much want. And speaking of mayonnaise, the next on my list is the new mayonnaise core guard guitars. Now, if you watch my demo videos, basically what I consider to be the bread and butter of this channel, you know that I like to focus on guitars in that $800 to $1,000 price range. Things like LTDs and high-end Epiphones, because they're high-quality workhorse instruments with great bang for the buck. But while I consider them to be great tools, I consider mayonnaise guitars to be more like fine art. The mayonnaise stuff has always been good looking, but for NAMM 2018, they were showing off their new core guards. Now I see on the Music Discussion Facebook group, there is kind of a mixed reaction to these guitars. I'm gonna choose a side. I think they're gorgeous. An integrated piece of wood that replaces ugly traditional plastic pickguards? Yes, please. Personally, I think these would be a great way to start with some mayonnaise on the channel. Then number 2 is the Chapman British Standard series. Now I've mentioned Chapman a lot in my videos before. I am a big fan of the Korean-made Pro series, and I loved the quality of the ML2 Pro Modern I got to demo, but these are just next level. Maximum production of 15 a month, all handmade in Britain, hand-selected woods, hand-wound pickups, they are going all in on these. At the show, they announced 4 models, the ML1 Invader, the Ghost Fret in Dragon Skin, the ML3 in Ruby, and my personal favorite, the ML2 in Sapphire. I picked it up, strummed it a bit. As good as the ML2 Pro Modern felt, this just blew me away. I talked to Matt Hornby and Rob Chapman at the booth, and they joked that they were going to take up half the production capacity to spec out their own instruments. At least I think they were joking. They might not have been joking, to be honest. They're gorgeous, they feel amazing. Yeah, the gas is real. If only they weren't $4,000. And finally, number 1 on my list, the new PRS MT15 amplifier. I am a big fan of Mark Tremonti's playing, and it was kind of unreal to see him just walking around NAMM and not on a stage. It was like, is that who I think it is? I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't play it cool at all. I asked him, are you who I think you are? And he was like, yep, I am John Bon Jovi. But yeah, he introduced his signature PRS MT15 at NAMM, and the tone from this little 15-watt monster, I mean, it just sounds great. You can get a better idea from a video that I'll link to in the cards. In an interview, he said that on the Last Hero Alter Bridge album, he mainly just used the prototype for his guitar tones. I'll be honest with you, I've been listening to that album a lot since it came out last year, and I totally thought that it was the Mesa Boogie stuff that he's favored in the past. I would guess that that thick tone is partially thanks to them using big 6L6 tubes instead of the smaller 6V6s that you normally find in smaller heads. So yeah, good call using the full-size power tubes. Big fan of that guitar tone. So yeah, not that I particularly need another amp, but I would love to get that on the channel because it seems like a ridiculous amount of tone packed into an affordable, really awesome looking package. Did I mention that it glows blue on the clean channel and glows red on the dirty channel? It's so cool. So yeah, it looks cool, it's affordable, it's got the clean and heavy tones found on the last Alter Bridge album. Sign me the hell up. So they didn't make the list, but I have to give a special mention to the Kiesel and ESP guitar booths. In terms of just pure guitar porn, Kiesel and ESP just blew me away this year. Like, I know in pictures they always look good, but it is completely different to see these beautiful creations in person. I would almost relate it to like walking through a Genty art exhibition. Just gorgeous, gorgeous guitars. So yeah, that's what I personally found really exciting at NAMM this year. What do you think of my list, and what were some of your favorites? Leave your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to know. Lots more guitar related content to come on the channel this year, so make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all the YouTube stuff. As always, thanks so much for watching, you've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.